What is going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to another episode of NAS100 analysis today, and we're going to be picking up from where we left off on Tuesday. So on Tuesday there was a couple of ideas we talked about, okay, and it went good, right? But it also went bad as well, and I'm going to explain it all to you. I've kept some of the drawings on as it was, right? But I've just kind of changed the screen around because it's better for my eyes. Like, to be fair, it's better for my eyes. So I've made it dark. So hopefully you guys are cool with it. If you're not, you're just gonna have to put up with it because literally, this color is better for my eyes than if I did it all white. Because the room is quite dark and it's like I'm staring into like a bright screen, like literally. So it's what it is. But I have a feeling you guys are going to be very comfortable with it, right? So first off, we're going to get straight into it. So on Wednesday, right? So on Wednesday, price started to push up, right? So what I had done was, so we're just going to get straight into it in regards to what I did, right? So if you remember from last video, right, I had a trade that I placed right here. So trade that I placed right here about this level, right? I think I will make this blue. Let's make this blue. Actually, no, let's make this yellow. Right. So there's a trade that I placed right here, okay, and I placed this trade on Monday. So obviously price came, it was a bit panicky. I talked about that in the last video, so that was Tuesday's video. If you want to go check that out, good content in there. So I did that trade, right, and price came down, it went up again, right, then it started pushing down. Then on Wednesday, right, on Wednesday basically I had a stop, right? So Wednesday price is doing what it's doing, so I'm just going to zoom in closer so you can see exactly why I placed that stop, and I tried to hold in as much as I possibly could, right? So what I basically did was I came in on Wednesday and I placed my trade. So towards the end of the day, most of the news had taken place. There was only one more news left outstanding, right? There's only one more news left outstanding, and that was the one that was going to be at 7 o'clock, where the Fed chairman obviously comes in and says what he says, right? So roughly around, so this is Tuesday, so this is Tuesday, because Wednesday I definitely got closed out. So what I basically did was I moved my trailing stop, right, up to this level right here. I moved my trailing stop up to this level right here, okay? And then, right, this part you guys are gonna laugh, right? Then I saw this because of this move over here. So because of this move over here that I saw, this one right here, right? So because of this move right here, I basically stuck in a pending sell order right here at the same level where I had moved my trailing stop to, right? Because I was like, look, it triggers me, it gives me a little something, and then it carries on with the party. It's a win-win, right? So I moved my trailing stop right to this zone right here, and then I added in a pending sell or a sell limit right here, okay? And then I set my stop for that particular trade where I had my original stop loss, right? So obviously the chairman gets on, says what he says, boom. So what happened was I got closed out, and the funny thing was, because this thing moved up so fast, right, it didn't actually hit my stop loss at the level that it was supposed to. So what ended up happening, which is something that I know happens a lot, it's like the slipperage, if I use the words correctly. So what happened was, let's say this is my stop loss right here, okay, right here, and this is where I placed my limit sell order. It moved my order all the way up here, okay, and it also moved my stop relatively close. So what, I was entered at this point and I was closed out at this point. So I didn't take that much of a loss at all. Which is good stuff, right? But that's how that basically played out, right? So we're going to get rid of all of that. And as it stands right now, I'm not in a trade because I'm waiting for tomorrow's non-farm payroll. So once tomorrow's non-farm payroll comes out, depending on what market is doing, around that time, it's when I will decide how I'm going to move, right? Now, one of the things I talked about in the last video, so the last video on Tuesday, literally, if you start watching that video from 11 minutes and 32 seconds, right, you will see that I mentioned this move potentially happening, but however, I wasn't confident it was going to happen because I believed that this whole structure, as it was appearing on the day, was only going to break down this way. So it's only going to go here, right? It's only going to do this. Let me just make this white. It was only going to do that. Okay, that's why I placed my sales at that level, aiming to get it. And obviously it didn't happen. It went all the way out and obviously closed me out in the way that it did. So now we're at the top of the structure, right? So we are now right at the top of it again, right? And if you look, this is the point that I measured out and we've gone into it, right? Now, what I want to do is I could actually say, ooh, put a pending sell order at that level. But the reason why I didn't do that, because I was like, look, if it gets there super fast, right, as it has done, it's got in there super fast. So this is what, hour, 2 hours, and it was like, it shot all the way up. I mean, it shot up with power, right? It wasn't a slow move. It was quite fast. So I said to myself, okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I want to see if price is going to be hovering around this area around the time of the non-farm payroll. So if it's just before non-farm payroll, price is doing something like this, right? So let's say it's non-farm payroll, we're waiting for it, and price is just playing games at this level. So it's just mucking around at this level, right? Then I'm not saying this is 100% what is going to happen, okay? But I would say, you know what? I'm prepared to take a calculated risk that price will be coming down, right? And I'll be aiming for sales at around this level up here. That is provided tonight, obviously, as we get some sleep, depending on where you are. You could be waking up, could be about to go to bed, it could be sunny afternoon where you are, I don't know. But depending on whatever time, non-farm payroll is going to be the same for everyone, regardless of what time. So either you're going to be asleep, you're going to be awake, whatever is going to be going on. And if it is around this level up here, okay, I would be thinking about putting in sales, right? Just because, like I said in the last video, I strongly believe that this whole thing is a downtrend, and right now as you're looking at it, it's an uptrend. If you're new to trading, you're gonna say this is an uptrend, and that I completely understand. But however, if you look at it on the macro, this is not an uptrend, it's a downtrend, right? It is a downtrend, and I always want to be facing in the direction of the day, not the direction of the hour. All right, so if I draw this over here, right, and I expand this, okay, right, and let me get rid of all of these boxes because we don't need it at all. So let's get rid of all these boxes. We know what this structure is, so we're just gonna actually wait. Let me go in a little bit closer, go in, and let's remove some of these things out of the way. So it's just nice and tidy. Let's get rid of this one too. Okay. And then let's go back into the day. Alright. Let's get rid of this one as well. Okay. So you can kind of see the channel that I'm referring to. Right? You can kind of see the channel I'm referring to. Let me just do a bit of cleaning up of this screen just so that it looks a little bit more tidy, a little bit more presentable. Right? Okay. Right, this looks much cleaner. Okay. So this is what we have right now. Right, this is how it looks. But I think it's going to come up to about this zone right here. And we also have this particular structure over here. Bearing in mind there's all this room, right? Because it is obeying this trend line over here, right? It's definitely obeying this trend line over here, the bottom one that we can see, the ascending bottom trend line I drew, right? And then if we take that and then we compare that to the overall direction of what market is doing, we can see that this is a downtrend. It's not an uptrend at all. So either at this level it's going to pull down, or it might even go higher up to one of these levels and start pulling down. But I strongly think it's probably going to go to 12419.24 and start pulling down, and this is going to be due to the strength of the wick that appears during the non-farm payroll. And once again, sometimes non-farm payroll is released and nothing happens, and sometimes it is released and all hell breaks loose, right? So this is my thinking. I'm like this. Okay, cool, right? If it pushes all the way up after the news breaks, all right, I would be looking for sells. I'm not looking for buys at all. I'll be looking for sells, right? And if it gets to this zone right here, so this is the level, the number that I just called out, give or take, it might be a little bit different based on where I click it, but I'm trying to get it as dead on as possible. So I'm saying what? So 12406.16. So in between 12406, right, and 12419. In between those zones, or it could be even wider, all right, I believe there's a very good chance once the news is released tomorrow, price may head up to that zone. And if it does head up into that zone, that'll be fantastic. All I will then need to do is find a very comfortable location to put in a sell stop with a decent size stop, and just set it up and then forget about it and then see what happens on the Monday when I get up. That's how I'm going to have to play it. But so far, this week has been quite good. This week has been good in terms of trades that I've made, and I'm aiming to replicate the same thing again next week, and we'll see what we get in regards to non-farm payroll. So just to make it a little bit bolder in terms of what I just said, I believe that price could come to this zone once the news breaks. Not saying 100% is going to happen, but I personally believe that it will get to that zone, right? And if it does get to that zone, then I would anticipate a retracement back to the downside. We may get a retracement down to this zone right here, right? I'm not expecting it all to take place in one day. We may get a retracement back to 10787.03 or nearabouts that area, or it could come in around this trend line over here. Okay, it could come into around this trend line over here, which would be 11390.77. It could do one of the two, and just to measure how much juice is in this for us to squeeze out a decent amount. If played correctly, we are looking about 1,180 pips. A decent amount of pips to collect if it comes to that zone. And if it goes all the way lower, okay, I don't know if it will or not, but if it did, okay, then we'll be looking at, what did I say? Did I say this zone or that zone? Okay, if it breaks this structure, then I'm expecting it to come all the way down here. I'm afraid I'm expecting to come down to this level. Then we'll be looking at 2,707 pips, right? So that's why I like trading the days supposed into the hours, because you just get way more out of it, and you get a bit of a life as well. You can go out and do things and etc. and just manage everything on your phone. But yeah, so that's what I think. I think that is a possible move that could happen after the non-farm payroll. But like I say, and I say this all the time, and I'm not going to stop saying it, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, and I'm just basically sharing with you how I personally would move in the markets if I saw certain conditions. If you decide to take the signals of this video and apply it to your own trading style with no research, no nothing, just saying, okay, I watch pips and points and I'm just going to follow this guy, and it all goes wrong, it's not my fault, because I'm not telling you to do it, right? I want all of you to know how to do this if you don't know how to do this, right? And check the work, drop the comments on what you think. If you think it's going in the opposite direction of what I said, give us your rationale, share your knowledge so we can all learn from each other, right? Or you can just not say anything at all. Either way is fine. But the main thing is that's what I think is going to happen. That's how I think the market's going to move tomorrow. And tomorrow we're all going to find out if it does happen or if it doesn't happen. All right. So until that time, make sure you check out the video I did on Tuesday, okay? Because that's going to be around somewhere. So it's at the end of this video, you should be seeing some boxes popping up around. It's going to have one of those videos for yesterday, and just go in there and then check it out, and then see obviously what you think, or drop us a comment. Let me know how you feel about that analysis, right? So until then, I will see you in the next video, which will be very, very, very soon. I hope you guys collect maximum pips and maximum points, right? And if you're ready in a trade, I hope you're winning that trade, okay? And if you're losing that trade, don't worry about it. There will be other opportunities for you to get it back. Just make sure you're exercising risk management. The only way you're going to win at this game is with risk management. If you break that rule, well, then it's on you. So with all of that covered, I want to thank you all for coming over. I definitely appreciate your time and energy coming over to watch another episode. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be very, very soon. So for now, this is Pips and Points signing out.